host, Michael Chang. I'm really excited for today's episode. It's an entrepreneur that I met almost a year ago at a conference in Miami, and he's building this amazing property management software. So I'm really excited to have Shahar Goblin on the show. Shahar, thank you very much for taking time today to join
Thanks
us.
for this. Thanks for inviting me. Always
Now, I'm
happy
really
to
excited.
work with you.
I'm really excited for this conversation, and I pinged you on LinkedIn to come on, and I'm glad you're making the time. Um, Before we start off, why don't I give you just a few minutes to introduce yourself, or give you a minute to introduce yourself to the audience? Would love to, hear the the story.
So I'll do it really shortly. Basically, I started a company called Design VR, a management company in 2017. We grew it up to be a company that managed $150 million of properties. During that, run into difficulties, so developed technology. And around a year and a half ago, we decided to pull Boom to the market, which is the world's first AI PMS to the in the world. Took as chairman the former president and CEO of Hilton, and right now working all over the world: Europe, United States, Mexico, Canada.
Now, I love the AI first foundation of Boom and the property management system, and that's why I was kind of so interested. And I've actually heard from many of my peers that utilize your system on how it's been a huge help into their business processes, helping them grow their revenue, helping them streamline their processes, especially as they're managing properties for third parties. Sorry, excuse me, make one little adjustment here. As they're managing properties for third parties. So, you know, very we got a lot to cover today. Um, but first, I want to kind of start off on the basics. Okay, so what is a property? Just very briefly, what is a property management system, and what are the benefit? What are the key benefits that a customer would enjoy by using a property management system versus just managing their portfolio with the apps, with the websites that the online travel agents, the OTAs, provide us?
So what you're asking, it's actually like there is no standard for PMS in the industry, and everybody looking at it in other ways. But for me, a PMS, it's a centralized location. It's a centralized location where all of your inboxes coming to one place, your pricing going to different OTA, your ability to distribute your properties on multiply OTAs, your ability to send tasks to all of the mission. In the end of the day, when you think about it, property management is a really hard business that you need to control a lot of elements, from marketing to sales to maintenance to design and all of that element. And how do you have a centralized place that all of your employees are there and can basically manage your business? This is how I'm looking at PMS. Your ability
And
to
what are some
control everything in one place.
perfect? So it's like it's your central nervous system of your business, is central store of record. So maybe just talk about the benefits too, like the benefits of, because the software isn't, it's not
Oh, so
free,
think
right?
about it this
You
way.
pay per listing. What are
Yeah.
some of the key benefits versus trying to manage everything separately?
So I can touch a lot of points, but in reality is the quicker you answer to your guests, the more chance that you will basically get it. The more distributions that you have out to more OTA, more chance that somebody will go and will inquiry and will basically book the place. The more accurate your pricing is to what you need to be sold, the better like you will sell more nights, and the nights that haven't been sold is a night that going away. It's a merchandise that you will never be able to use. So how do you optimize all of that also in your task? In like you need to do preventative care, you need to do like bi-weekly, you need to be with regulation, take the trash in, take it out. How do you control so many elements that needs to be happening? When you have one or two properties, the one thing. When you go into 10 is a different thing. When you go into
Yep.
40 is a different thing. And as you grow, you understand that stuff in scale are harder and harder.
So, boom, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. And I want to share with you just a quick story on how it's helped when we utilize the property management system, how that really grew our business. So we first started. the business in December 2016, and we didn't have a property management system until 2018. We used one of the early PMS systems. This is like 6 years ago now, and we were at 5 units. And I think I strongly believe that once we had a property management system, that really allowed us to go from 5 to 30 much more quickly, and we would never have been able to do it without a property management system. And to your point, it's increased distribution. Before we were just on Airbnb. Now we're on Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, Expedia. We just got on Marriott for homes, and not at Marriott Villas. And we never would have gotten that without a property management system. Our revenue is much higher. To your point, we're able to now get our pricing coordinated across all the different OTAs. We're able to have more advanced revenue management strategies. So we're able to book those unbooked nights and increase our RevPAR, our occupancy, and ultimately our profits. And ultimately, this has allowed us to scale much faster because now we have one central system where my cleaners, my offshore staff, even the vendors, the people that take care of the pest control and the HVAC system, that they can all have one central place and go in and be able to coordinate all those different workflows that, to your point, makes this business very complex. And if you don't have something like this, it's extremely difficult to scale. You can do it one or two, it's easier, but then once you get to 10 or 20, it's not a simple linear function. It's really geometric. I mean, it's all just compounds on each other. And if you don't get it right in the beginning, it's going to be that much harder to grow and that much harder to grow profitably. So I think this is a really critical point, that if you are with that 0 to 10, 0 to 5 really property range, you really have to make sure that you're looking into investing in a property management system, and you want to do it once because transitioning it is difficult and a ton of brain damage is something that you don't want to go through. Do you
Yeah,
agree with that?
I totally agree, and I think you need to understand which the PMS, what they are standing for, what's the values that they bring, how much they understanding the business, and what you said before about operational. So you have like few aspects, right? You have the operational level. How do I do everything operatively? And then you have also the financial aspect of stuff, meaning like your P&L to your owners and how everything is connected. So let's say you send somebody to do landscaping, how this mission that is going over there at a certain time will affect the P&L of the owner, and how the owner has a view of that. Also, if you have like repairs and all of that, a lot of time is the transparency and accountability of stuff to how your owners see, okay, they fix the wall, what was needed to be done over there. You have videos, you have photos, you see how much it cost. And a lot of time when you just have a line item, okay, it cost you like $1,000, the owners think, hey, you know what? They're thieves. They taking money from me. They spending so much money, and the property managers think everybody else will charge him $3,000 for it. I charge just $1,000, and why is like that? But a lot of time it's because he doesn't see the story, he doesn't see the video, it's just a line item. So how you take all of this ecosystem and everything, talking with
Yes.
everything, that's what Boom does in all of the aspect, meaning we can tell you who is your best cleaner, how much time it takes you to clean, who is your like how much time it takes you to answer a chat, with your best salesperson, where tourists are coming to your place, and how everything coordinate with everything, the visualization of your business, of your data.
And that's why I was so, look, you think you really nailed this on the head. And so excited about this conversation because everything you just said there, I actually had heard independently from my other peers in the ecosystem, right? Other property managers that manage hundreds of properties, they were using, a competitor's product. And, I think before you built the PMS system, you had an add-on that you can connect with different PMSs and property management systems. And that's what I heard was that your AI, first one, and this is what I want to hit on, your AI, the AI, the base infrastructure that you've built in allows them, they weren't able to properly account for all the work they were doing for their clients, right? To your point, like if they, the one I heard that really kind of stuck in my mind was, they go and fix something in the backyard, like fix a fence in the backyard, and they, there's labor, there's coordination, there's all this stuff, and the owners don't believe that they actually did the work, or it's like, oh, this is a really easy task, like, why are you charging me $200? But with your software, they're able to see that entire workflow. They're able to see the pictures, the timestamps, all those things that are automatically done for you. Like, it creates a report and an invoice that you can share with the owner, so they are one educated on the time and the effort that you spent, not just the cost. They're like, oh, hey, this person actually cares about my property and made it look nice so that it can get booked out, I can get a higher revenue. And they know that you've actually spent the time and money on this. So to your point, it's not just a line item where they think you're taking money out of their pocket, but what they're actually doing is like, I'm actually giving you insight into the workflow on everything that we're doing, and it increases the stickiness to that customer. And conversely, for the property manager, before they weren't billing for that properly, or they had to have a manual process to go in and do all these invoicing. And it's just no person, no VA based overseas is going to be as good as a well-tuned software to do that. And I heard these stories multiple times from my competitors, my peers, and so I was like, oh wow, this is a really cool system that you guys have built. And and that's kind of what I want to hit on next is like the AI. Like, AI is such a buzzword right now. Everyone is like, we're going to use AI for everything. But I think actually the penetration is fairly low. There's, little add-ons that people are adding on to their PMS system, or people are using ChatGPT to write emails, things like that. But maybe talk a little about how you've really integrated the AI into your product.
So we look at AI as a multi AI agent that will help you move the day to day operation away. So you will be able to focus on the important stuff, which is your guest and how good can I create a better experience to the guest. With that being said, I'll start with customer support, for example. You know what? Let's start from a sales agent so we can go on a flow. So just to explain you the way we are thinking. So
Okay.
our sales agent will be able to negotiate prices, meaning you set a parameter for him and he will be able to negotiate prices. If somebody asking for like a higher discount, you can say, you know what, I want to involve the manager in. He will know to send you comparables if you didn't like what you it was sending. It will know, let's say in May, you wrote him, hey, you know what, I'm going to visit my parents to my father's birthday and I want like 5 days. And let's say you didn't come, it will know next year to send you 2 months before, or a month before with optimization. Hey, are you coming again to your father? Meaning he won't forget like nothing of that kind. He will be able to talk with you in English, Spanish, Chinese, any language around there, with also the mentality of that culture because different culture have different mentalities. He will work 24/7 and no sick time, no leave time. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, it will still answer 10 seconds after you ask the question. Now let's move to the customer support. The customer support agent will know, let's say if you complain, if you asking for a
Sorry,
recommendation.
Shark. Can I pause you there for one moment? Because that sales part is actually really, really interesting. I've seen a lot of AI software for short-term rentals, where it's actually pretty simplistic. They'll look at your calendar to do the upsells for orphan nights, which is, kind of a night in between two reservations that generally goes unbooked. So
The gap
they'll try to
night.
upsell that, or upsell like a late checkout or early check-in. So it seems like pretty actually standard stuff. So you're saying your AI agent will actually remember, a milestone from a guest, and then 2 months before it'll go back and just say
Mhm,
Airbnb and message
mhm.
them and say, "Hey, are you still looking for your dad's to celebrate your dad's birthday?" Is that did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, you heard it correctly. Our
Amazing.
part is like also our customer support. Let's say you're complaining about the pool being dirty, we'll know how to open a task to the team, make sure that the team is actually going. If you will ask, how do I turn on the projector, it will send you a video from the house manual to how to do it. If you're asking for an early check-in, because we have an holistic system, everything talking with everything, right? So let's say you're asking if you can do an early check-in, it will go and check if you have like task on cleaning it, like or fixing a bathroom or a shower or something that will be preventative from you getting in. It will check if a late checkout was offered. It will check if all of the missions were done, and then it will know how to give you an answer. Because a lot of times, the way that the industry is building right now, it's fragmented solutions,
Yeah.
and then you don't have one source of data, so the AI actually cannot give the answer. How can it give the answer, right? Me and you, for example, we are talking. We talk. Probably we have 3 4 hours of conversation, maybe less. I know a little bit about you. I know the area that you're working in. I know that you have 40 properties that you manage. I know yourself basically doing it. But I don't know who is Michael. I don't know who are your kids. Where did you grow up? Who are your parents? And if somebody will ask me a question about Michael, I won't be able to answer like Michael. So think about it like API integration. What is API integration? Is the data sources that you pass to me, but it's not holistic. So I will never will be able to do an answer like Michael. Whereas the system is holistic, my ability to give an answer are much stronger. It's an API connection.
Yeah. So I guess, so how would that, I mean, I'm curious. So how would that work? So you're saying that, maybe I didn't understand perfectly. Will it go, will it search other data on the internet, or will it, kind of go into,
No, not
say,
on
if you
the
had a Facebook
internet.
profile and go in and see kind of the person, or, you know, because like I do, and I think that's actually one of the biggest problems in short-term rental software right now. And I actually, back in my investment banking days, we commissioned a lot of reports from, McKinsey's and the Bains of the world, and I'm actually on a lot of those expert networks. So I actually do a lot of those calls where investors will come and ask me, what do you think about this short-term rental software? Where does it sit in the marketplace? Like, what are the competitive advantages, disadvantages, etc. And a big question always is, how will a PMS intermediate, say, like a cleaning management software solution, or an access control software solution? And I always kind of go back to, like, to your point, like, it is a single source of truth. Um, and you actually want everything in one place, so that any kind of AI agent can kind of see everything and work everything, versus having to you have this kind of Frankenstein system where you API into remote lock, for example, if you don't have the code, and you have to kind of cross the chasm to do something else. Whereas if you just have everything in one place, it makes it much more efficient. So you're also saying that, like, with that, then your AI agent will be that much more powerful, can kind of go to everything and give you more contextualized answers. Is that
Exactly.
what I'm hearing?
Think about the chatbot. So let's say now I'm using a chatbot of one of the companies, and he's attached to the PMS, but he's not attaching to the task management. You ask him, "Can I do an early check-in?" How can I give you an answer? He can't.
You can.
It's disconnected. So
So have you built everything? So has Boom built everything then? You have like I use Asana, for example, for task management. So
we have
there's an
we have project
Asana kind of
management.
equivalent.
Yeah, we have
There's just okay.
more than that. More than that. The project management is not a task management. So we have a project management where it's set of parents, right? So if that happens, this will be open, and when this close, this will be open. And your task management is the missions that are going. So we do have Asana on our software. We do have Monday on our software. We basically have everything under one basically platform.
Selfishly, I'm going to ask a question here. I've been using Asana for a while. I hear a lot about Monday.com. Like, just what do you think is what do you think the kind of best use case for Monday versus Asana? Just curious on your thoughts.
Asana for me, it's like more of the project, and Monday is more of the operation with inside the project. And for me, it's like
Interesting.
how they use basically all of that under one. So that's what we build.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, thanks for answering that. Now let me let's just zoom out. Like, you built this really nice product. There are, in the way I look at property management software, there is, kind of the two big companies within the PMS sector, right? Guesty and Hostaway. I think they're considered generally like the large kind of incumbent players. And they're more kind of enterprise grade. They have a lot of different connections to different pieces of software. They kind of and have built a lot in house. There's a second tier that is probably more appropriate for someone that's maybe not as tech savvy or doesn't want to pay as much. I think I would put like the Hospitables, the Owner Reses of the world, maybe even Logify, kind of in that other bracket. As you kind of think about Boom AI, like, and I think people on listening to the podcast now probably use maybe one of the PMS systems or considering or have heard of them. There's a lot of confusion in the marketplace on what is most appropriate for a particular property manager. So maybe just if you could just zoom out, like how would you, put yourself in the shoes of someone that has 5 properties right now and either growing through rental arbitrage where they're leasing properties and then subleasing it, or they're doing co-hosting where they're managing on behalf of an owner. Like maybe maybe just talk about that qualification process and where does Boom AI fit within the larger ecosystem? Easy question.
No, I'm trying to think about the question, how to answer it the best way. I think even if we have 5 or 10 or whatever you have, is like, what is my goal? Let's start with it. What is my goal? My goal is to have a company with 100 properties. My goal is to have a hobby that I would like to do it. So if I want to be the most professional in what I'm doing, then I will analyze where are, in the end of the day, where is my weaknesses, where is my elements that will be able to help me grow the fastest, the quickest, and in the most efficient way, in a way, and where do I build something that is stable in
Mhm.
matter of like processes. So unlike all of the other companies in the industry which are helping you manage a reservation, Boom helping you manage your business in all levels, meaning understanding what are my KPI. If it's a KPI for a property, understanding what's the returns that it's doing, understanding how your people are doing, and adding the AI layers that allowing your people to scale, meaning that you can do much more with less amount of people because
Yeah.
they have now more capabilities. So instead of customer support having like tier one, tier two that I'm always writing, now tier one, tier two is going away. And now I'm dealing with tier three or tier four in a way. And by that, I can do more because I can focus on the more meaningful stuff. Like,
Yeah.
meaning, if I have now somebody that's asking for refund, I want a manager to be involved. So you can play, and the play of human and AI together, giving you a high capability. For example, we have AI review manager. So what the AI review manager is doing, he will read the review and will tag the issue, meaning it's if it's a property maintenance issue, and like, for example, a lock or internet, and then it will tag it. It will give you an option to write a review back with a click of a button. You can modify it. It will open tasks from that review that basically happening. And on the business analytics review, I can go and see, okay, what's the issues that I had in January, for example, in my property management section. And I can see, you know what, I had 9 appliances issue, I had 9 internet issue. I press on the 9 internet issue. I see, oh my God, I had a building with 6 issues. It's giving me really capability to understand everything that's going on in my business. So people that want to grow their business, if they
Yeah.
focus on that, for me, it's like we bring something new to the industry that you didn't have before. You just didn't.
No, no, you're absolutely right. Like I'm I'm very happy to hear that actually. I think you really kind of your software, what you told me, and if it can be executed at that level, it really raises the bar of competition. Because what I actually don't like about the current state of play is the incumbents. They're it's more they're just replicating what I see with the existing property management systems is what they're doing is just replicating other successful, more vertical software. So whether it's cleaning management or pricing software and incorporating that within their platform just so that it can increase their penetration, right? Um, increase the the value that they're providing to customer. slash the price they can do. But what I don't see is innovation. And what you're talking about is just like it's actually really innovative what you're doing right now. There's nothing right now in the market, at least that I know, within that's integrated within a property management system that can go into. I mean, that's great to actually go into your reviews and pull out the issues and record it somewhere where your team can handle it, and two, actually respond to that in a more meaningful way. All the review kind of automations right now are all just like, here are 10 canned responses, and I will rotate randomly through it and give them a 5-star reviews. It's like it's just a check the box, but that's actually it's not very meaningful. And what you're saying, the innovation that you're bringing into space, I think it's really good actually, because it'll force some of these more incumbent players to really, invest into innovating a product. Versus what I see now actually is a lot of them, they're taking large PE investments or venture capital investments. One company has, took a large investment from Blackstone. Another company took a large company from BSG, and I know these companies they're great, but I think there's a lot more pressure to show revenue growth, to show the internal metrics. And whereas the easiest thing to do is just to replicate what someone else is doing. You already own the customer. You cut off the API, and then you're like, okay, we'll use this, and then I'll charge you $5 more per listing per month. Like that's a really easy way to grow,
Yeah, think about
uh,
it.
grow the MRR or grow the software. But what is actually hard to do is what you're doing is actually, okay, let's actually create new stuff that creates real value for our customers versus just replicating something else and making the integration slightly easier, but not actually delivering, I think much more, kind of value to the customer.
I think you're on point, because I think what happening with the PE when they coming in, they are almost like a house flipper. Is how can I get like something for a certain price, and how can I sell it for more price in a way. So they're more focusing from top to bottom, see where they can cut basically expenses in order to improve the bottom line, and they are not focused on value creation and actually
Exactly.
disrupting. So just from that aspect, what happening is that you have fragmentation, and you have like no innovation basically. That's basically all of the leaders, and that's kind of what happening. Another thing is that
It's a real sorry, I want to hit on the point. It's a real disservice too, actually, because this is still a relatively young industry, right? Airbnb started, 10, 15 years ago. I think the real professional management from short-term rentals, really, I think 2015, 2016 when it really started. So we're still pretty early on, and to see kind of stagnation in the innovation of the software, it's a little concerning actually. And I think it's really great that new blood can come in here and push the envelope and raise the bar so that people aren't just you know increasing price because they know they have customer lock-in. They actually have to deliver incremental value to you.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And I think also like it's how you have connection to the ground, meaning also the industry, when you still look at it in a different level, you have programmers that saying this guy will need that, and they don't really understand what's going on over here. They assuming they will need it, and that's kind of creating like a disconnect that we see with not innovation because not understanding. Or you have operators that have 5 or 10 properties, and then they say, you know what, we have like a great solution, let's do that. And then you have million solutions and PMSs that really not connect, and then you have PE that wants to make more money, and that's kind of the status of the industry.
Yeah, it is. No, I know. It's well, again, like I'm glad that, and I think this is where consolidation hurts. Um, there's a player that, now that they got the big VC checks, they're buying up a lot of the other smaller companies, other smaller channel managers or PMS systems, and using them as a lead funnel into their system. And I think it's really a disservice because this industry continues to grow and evolve in very unexpected ways. And I think the more competition that we have here is actually going to be, is going to drive innovation and more value creation for us, right? Versus someone that's just trying to IPO the company. But
Yeah,
look, I
and
mean, look, I
100% also go
w-
back to what you just said. When you're buying a company, you're buying the people. The people are the company. And to implement company into a company, it's like almost like a heart implant, right? Because it
it's
needs to adjust and it needs to be the right one to the right body to the right thing. And a lot of time is not successful because the people are not matching, the value of the company is not matching, the customers that wanted like to be with that company is not the company that bought them out. So it's a hard procedure. It's not an easy one to do that.
it's funny. I was speaking to the head of sales for a property management system, and there was a PE back company that bought a PMS system, and he basically says like, yeah, my job basically is handling all the 40% of the customer base that wants to leave there because it wasn't what they would sign up for. And you kind of there's a fair amount of value destruction that happens in M&A that's not well executed, and that's speaking from a former investment banker, 10 years on Wall Street doing M&A. I think seeing it in real time, what's happening in the industry that I'm very deep into now, it gives me a different lens, and I really do think right now it's like the building to organic part is kind of continue to innovate on the product. Your customer, if you can win the customer on your product versus just you're buying a customer list, I think that's much more sustainable and from a value creation perspective, a much better way to go versus just buying and integrating and kind of forcing them onto your existing platform. You hit on a great point about, and this is the point I want to hit on, is building a team, right? You built two separate. I'm sure you built a lot of other businesses too, but you built two separate businesses within short-term rentals. You have the property management company, and you have now the software company. Maybe just some lessons there that you can share about building teams and how it's allowed you to scale. Because I think a big part of what I really try to emphasize to people is you as the entrepreneur, as the principal, have a very limited amount of time and energy. And once if you decide to grow a company, you got to put the right team on the field, right? Who are the right people to put in what positions, train them, empower them, incentivize them. And that's how you really can scale a business, whether it's software, whether it's property management, anything, right? I think that is a core concept that I believe in. So I'm kind of curious, you built two great companies now. So how do you think about building teams? How do you think about putting the right team on the field?
To be honest, I've done also mistakes in my life. No, nothing is like you learn the most when you get the biggest punches when you learn the most. To be
Fair.
honest, I believe in creating a players that it's first their personality, their values, what they are stands for. Like it's like before talent, meaning like for me it's like the good people, the good vibe, uh, uh, and then the talent, which we deal just with a player because a player are okay when there is a smarter guy than him in the room. He's okay with that, meaning he wants to achieve, he wants to get to the truth. When you start hiring B players, what happening they will hire C players because they want to feel comfortable. So in my companies, I try to do A players. Obviously, when you have a property management company, your lower won't be like A player, but they can be A player and try to keep as much A player in the top. Also, try to avoid. I used to say, oh, I have 180 employees. For me, right now, is not the amount of employees. Like the more you grow, the more stupid you get in a way in the company, and it's how you keep yourself lean and smart and decision making, meaning like how can I take quick decision rather
Yeah.
like than to have a lot of bureaucracy and stuff. You need to move quick, you need to give the authority to people to get the decision within their place. I don't want them to come to ask, but I want them to understand upon what they get the decision, what are the values that we look at, what I want. So they understand the equation, but you give the answer. So in that matter, and as the more you get to more clear equation in a way of the value of the companies of how you judging stuff, and your team can do it, the better, and the company can be
Yeah.
move much faster, be much better, and be much more respect by the people who dealing with this company.
If everyone, everyone, there's a central. And this sounds really, it actually sounds pretty cliche, but I think it's really true. Like there's some certain values within the company that everyone, that you as the leader drive home, and everyone is, you know, it's hard to give specific instructions for every single situation, right? But if everyone believes that, hey, these are the things that we're driving towards, whether it's customer satisfaction, whether it's margin, right? Like we don't waste money. Like my company, like we don't, like everyone knows, like we don't waste money. Like if you go and buy something on Amazon, like I expect someone to go and actually look at, make sure that they're getting the best price for something, right? So I think those kind of core values, I think you're absolutely right, and be able to push that into the organization and get the A players. So that's actually a question for you: is like, how do you get A players? I think everyone, like it's everyone wants A players, right? We have, I mean, very lucky on my team to have a few A players on my team that, to your point, don't care about competition. Like they just want to get better, right? And I think like I, as a founder, know when I see someone like that, even if they don't have the experience or maybe not even the most talented, but they just like they they have that extra gear. I know it's really hard to describe, but you can sense that in very early on that someone that they may not have the tools there, but they care and they're going to go and figure out the solution. And I would much rather prefer someone like that, train them, incentivize them versus someone that comes in, thinks they have all the answers and get threatened by someone else that brings in a new solution, because like no one has all the answers.
That's my biggest fear of having all of the solution, having all of the answers. It doesn't work this way. It
It
doesn't
doesn't
work
work.
this way with the
I
highest.
hired sorry, I was like, I hired 4 assistants from a company that a large company that ended up going out of business, and I had fired them in the first month, and it was like first I was like, oh wow, they must have a lot of experience coming in, different perspective, and I came in, I was like, oh my god, like no one's actually been managing these people for a year now, and that's why they're having all these issues, because they're just like they come in late, they like not doing anything. It's scale for the sake of scale is the wrong way to think about it. I think people, what I really don't like when I see people advertise, how many doors they have, right? How much revenue you have, how many employees you have. Like that's all kind of irrelevant, and actually can mean like you're just very inefficient. Like what I care about is like what's your profitability? Like, are you lean enough?
You're
Like,
the leader. This is what you're looking at. But Facebook, for example, at the time they wanted to do expansion. So I think it's really depends on the leaders that leading the company and what are the goals, and based upon that, understanding if the mapping that you put to where you're going, how you're going, that it fits with everything. So everything needs to talk the same.
exactly. Like on that Facebook example, it's funny. It's over the last year when Mark Zuckerberg has been cutting headcount significantly. They actually are growing with fewer people, more revenue. So it's
That's
actually
the
perfect.
thing.
It's
That's the
insane,
thing. You don't
actually,
need
and
a team of
it is
people.
tens of billions of dollars. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's exactly the thing. It's a team. It's not the size of the team. It's like how the team is operating, and you can do so much with so much less people. It's not the amount. It's the creation, the chemistry between the people. They want to create. You asked me how do I find like eight players? I found eight players by talking. So just I'll tell you, I brought Alex Husner to work with us as a CMO. I met with her in Boca Raton in the event of that was over there, the VRMA event, and I started talking with her, and I told her, "What do you look like? How do you look at Boom if you had to do marketing to it?" And she's like, "I would do one, two, three, four." I'm like, she made me like really, oh, okay, okay,
Okay.
interesting. And then let's do that. And then she had passion to it without even nothing. She just wanted to be involved because she loves the idea, she loves the passion. And you will meet A people. A people don't care about money, they care about what they want to achieve, how they want to achieve it. Obviously, You need to set it up after it also with financial planning, but the want in the beginning to do and to put efforts from your end without getting nothing. You will find it a lot with A players that just want to
Yeah.
be part of a vision. They want to be part of something bigger than them that you want to build, and that's the people that I want around me, to be honest.
Well, look, I've seen the team you built from your advisory board. I didn't know you hired Alex. Congratulations on that. She's very, very smart. That's a great. I mean, that's a fantastic CMO hire. And as we went on a conversation, I'm really impressed of what you've built in a fair, kind of a short amount of time that I've known the company, and just the organic feedback that I've heard from my peers that they're a tough bunch. These people have been around since 2015, 2016, 2017. We all went through COVID. It's not an easy crowd to impress, and you've actually a few that I know are very, very difficult people to impress. And them singing your praises publicly, I was like, oh, okay, wow, like this is you must have something really cool there. So I'm excited to see you in Miami in a month, and we can. I love to kind of demo the product again and see all the new stuff that you built. And I always ask this last question as we kind of wind down a conversation. Business is a team sport, right? I mean, it's not easy to build a successful company. A lot of ups and downs. In your, as you kind of look back, what was one of the kindest things that someone has done for you as you've grown your businesses? And I don't mean just something that someone did where they didn't have to do that for you, and it had an outsized impact in your journey.
Wow, I have a lot. I have a lot of people that really helped me, pushed me, supported me, introduced me to people. I'm lucky to have many of them in my life. To be honest, I can't say listen. I have so many like promoter. In the end of the day, is how do you meet people and people open doors for you. So I got introduced to the president of Hilton that became a president and a chair. And I got introduced to amazing stuff and is my mentor to life. Like he really opened a lot of doors in my mind and doors to people and doors to capital. Um, I have many. It's we need like a 1 hour of like that just to give you the list of people that helped me. But one thing that I can say clearly, when you believe in something and when you put the words out, a lot of stuff will come in your way. And you need to ask for help from people because people really love to help. And you need to share your problems, and then you will get answers. So that's my advice for people, to be honest.
That's a great way to end the show. It's I think a lot of people kind of feel vulnerable when they share their problems. They have to kind of have this facade that they know everything. And I found that, and I think that's for me, like as when I was an investment banker, that was kind of my job to know everything, or at least kind of pretend you know everything. And I think that's like a big shift when you are an entrepreneur, is you got to be really humble. Actually, like there's so much going on, you don't know everything, and the most that you learn is when you just like, hey, these are my problems, I really don't know what's I don't, I have some ideas, but like I would love to hear from you, like what how I can solve these. And I think those for me has been the best um ways that I've been able to solve like my problems in my business. And I think that's where the network is really important, right? Whether for you, like through your professional network, whether it's a professional network, personal network, whether you join a mastermind, you know, these are the things that you can't find online. Like you can look on Reddit all you want, on YouTube, like you're just not going to get the deep level answers versus you're in a mastermind, with your peers that understand, really take the time to care about you and your problems and help you kind of think through that. Because a lot of it's iteration too. It's not just like, oh, hey, this is the answer. It's like, oh, okay, well, these are some potential solutions. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I actually thought about that, but this is actually, you know, there's actually this issue too. It's like, oh, well, okay, and then you tease those things out, and you iterate once or twice, and you actually get to a much better solution. And lastly is like you actually take the advice of the person. I think there's always probably answers everywhere, but it's actually like, do you actually take the advice, and do you actually have conviction in taking that advice? So a lot of times, like you do it, you might not get the result that you want immediately, but it's like, okay, no, like I really believe in Shahar. Like I really believe in this answer. He's probably right. I just have to like, I'm probably like didn't execute it perfectly here. Let me kind of make some tweaks and see that. And I think that is actually how you get to an answer much more quickly. And I think that's just the benefit of asking questions and being humble. And congratulations to you on building such a great business. And I'm excited. I'm really just excited about like what you're going to build and hopefully raise the bar across the industry. So for folks that are interested in learning more about Boom, connecting with you, what's the like how best to reach out to you, how best to connect?
LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best way. You can reach out to me. I'm really quick to answer. Yeah, you can visit our website, boomnow.com, see a little bit what we are doing. And I would suggest schedule a demo with our sales team to show you the product. We're really disrupting the industry currently.
You really are. All right, so on the show notes here, folks, I will put Shahar's LinkedIn profile link. So message follow him and connect with him there if you have any questions. And then we'll also put up the Boom AI website so you can go in and review the product and hopefully schedule a call and learn more. Um, Shahar, thank you so much for spending time with me. This is really a great way to spend 45 minutes together in the morning. And thank you again for taking the time.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, stop here. Oh, 30%. Oh, wow.